how you live your life. What you do sometimes speaks louder than anything you can say. So Leo allowed certain things to happen, meaning he was guided by it. And one thing I know, love was deep in Leo's heart, and everyone can testify to that. So I was telling my wife, I said, if we was a jury and we had to listen at those people who shared testimonies last night, it was all about everything Leo did. Not too much about what he said, but how he expressed that love. So in that, it would say, let love rule your heart. You know? Leo sometimes seemed like he was irrational, but in his ways of thinking, he was logical. According to Leo's way of thinking. So not only Leo let love rule his heart, he let logic guide his mind. Okay? The essence of Leo's faith was in God, even though he may not regularly attend churches, especially on certain occasions. Someone would die, go to a wedding there or anniversary there. You know, he would do it. But he really let what he knew what faith was to direct his soul. Mm-hmm. Leo was at peace with himself. Everything he did. He never met a stranger. He was always helpful because he considered himself to be a jack of all trades and the master of none. He would take his shirt off his back. So in that, Leo was at peace in the way he lived his life. I might not always agree with it, but I can say Leo was at peace with himself. I think he had peace with God. So he let peace be his way of life. Leo let peace be his way of life. There was many good stories last night. It didn't matter, race, creed, color, young or old. He always did things to be helpful. Very much consideration, showing charity. I now think about that. That was the legacy of my mother. 1 Corinthians 13 chapter. Faith, hope, and charity. The greatest is faith, hope, and love. The greatest of these is charity. Mm-hmm. That's what we have on our program. Leo's life has just been a reflection of that DNA that she had on that. I try to live up to that. I have my shortcomings and I make mistakes just like everybody else. But God's amazing grace covers all.
All right. I met Brother Leo years ago. I came through like his brother child. I don't know nothing bad on him. I want to see the good side of him. And in the community, I found out that he was a very helpful man. He was always put his hand out to you if you needed it. We played our dominoes. Also, we talked. But he always showed me the good side, and I know that he loved his children.
Yes.
I know he loved his son, so we talked about it.
To this illustrious family, we thank God for you. I thank God that I had an opportunity to meet and to get to know this great man that I find in Brother John. Look like every time you think of something that you're going to say, somebody will get up before you and say just what you intended to say. So that's what the nephew has done. The Bible teaches us that God is love. Yes. And he that knoweth that love knoweth God. So I think in tribute to Brother John today, a good thing would be for us to do, because God has a way of bringing us together. Mm-hmm. And to me, this is more of a family reunion than it is a homegoing. I'm Tammy's pastor, and some of the family of the Pine Grove Missionary Baptist Church of Jonesboro, Louisiana is here with us today. And we just thank God for the opportunity to come before you today at this hour, that we might honor the request of Brother John. You know, it's strange how people can be talking to us sometime and telling us things, but we are not listening. Can I get a witness?
Amen.
Brother John has said something strangely to me several months ago. He was out in Louisiana visiting, and it seems as though he was preparing himself for this day. Amen. We can see him again. We just live right. All you got to do is just live right and practice sowing the seeds of love. That this man, I don't know all the states and towns and cities that he's been in, but in the state of Louisiana and the town of Jonesboro, Louisiana, he's planted some seeds of love. And the Bible said, whatsoever man soweth. Can I get a witness?
Amen.
Amen. That shall he also reap. I see all the love and I feel all the love, amen, that's being reaped here today. So God bless and keep you real strong is our prayer.
And I think back to when I was younger, being like the little kids here, we would run around and we wouldn't understand a lot what was going on. And now we're stepping into the generation. My cousins here, John and James, and a lot of the people that we don't see. And I think that we take a lot for granted. And I know that I didn't get to spend a lot of time with my uncle here, and I'm sure I missed out on a lot of good, countless stories. And my uncle here touching on the fact of the generosity of his heart. I don't think that there was a time that he probably never stopped to offer help or aid to anybody. I remember my cousins coming up. I remember him helping out in the family whenever he could. Either behind the scenes, swinging a hammer, financially, he was there. And he'll be missed.
Leo's baby cousin. Our mothers were sisters. And when we lost Aunt Evelyn, that was hard. When I lost my mom, it was hard. But I know Leo was always there for me. In the time I was in the hospital with my mom, Leo would call every 2-3 days to find out how my mom was doing. And she became his rock throughout his life. Oftentimes he would come to Lafayette, and we always knew Leo for a good time. He always enjoyed himself. He always enjoyed his family. And he made sure that everyone was taken care of. If you didn't have something, and you asked Leo, he made it possible for you to have. I lost my brother in the time span, and Junior and Leo and Oren and Leonard, they all took me as their little sister. So I still had a brother, and he will always be known to me as my brother. The one thing that, when the music started, the one thing that brought back memories to me is that he always loved to go to New Orleans. Always used to love to have a good time. So the parting words I have for you today, Leo, is laissez les bons temps rouler.